Hello, folks. Hello, Sai. Hello. Hello. Hi, folks. Can everybody able to hear me? Sri Vignesh, AJS, Pradeep, Sai.
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. Okay, people are keep joining in. I'll wait another 4 minutes for people to joining in so I can avoid inviting everybody personally. Okay, yes, I'll join shortly. Okay. Hi, Sai Kiran. Okay, hi Sai, hi Venkat. Venkat, I mean, you're able to hear me, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Pradeep.
Hi, you can.
Okay, somebody trying to draw on my screen. If that was an accidentally, please do erase. You have an option on the toolbar on your Zoom window. Okay, folks. Anybody already in the project and doing a React.js, as part of the daily development?
Yes, no, it's me.
Who is it, Pradeep?
Sri Vignesh.
Hey, Sri Vignesh. Awesome. So everybody have a little bit experience from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? So this session is about only React.js for people who have a little bit background from HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This would be a really easy thing to understand, get started. For folks who do not really haven't done HTML, CSS, JavaScript earlier, this would be a little a little tougher as I go on to the React. But I'll try to explain the basic things first and then I'll jump on to the React. Okay? Great. It would be awesome if someone can able to respond to me, so I know that my mic is working and I'm not just talking.
Okay.
Who wants to take the lead? Anybody who doesn't have a noisy environment can unmute their mic throughout the session and just say yes, no, I do not understand. You might repeat, etc. Okay, so Kiran, do you have a question? You seems to raise a hand. Okay,
No, nothing like that. No. I don't have any question.
are you responding to my previous development experience?
Actually, your voice is kind of breaking to me. Maybe for me or for everyone. I don't know.
Everybody else can hear me loud and clear, guys. I will try to put on my
Yes,
headset.
me too.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Pradeep, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
So I believe it's on your end, Sai Kiran. Try to dial in from a phone if you're dialing in from your computer. Like another minute, we would wait and we'll speak on, okay?
Actually, it's clear for me now.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
May I know the person who joined in as an iPhone, so I can take up their name while I explain?
Vikram bro, this is Joe. I came late.
Oh, hey Joe.
Yeah, yeah, Vikram bro.
Yep, Joe. Okay, I registered that. Okay, you iPhone Joe.
Yeah.
All right, folks, let's get started. So, okay, here we are. And my name is Vikram. I'm a UI developer for the last 5 years. Pradeep, do you mind muting your mic for a minute until you have, no noise from your end? Awesome, thank you. Okay, folks, whoever is not talking or not responding, can please mute their mic so you guys doesn't interrupt others. I have an option to mute. If you could not able to find a mute option on your end, please let me know. I can able to mute from my end. Okay. Sri Vignesh, I'm making you on mute, okay? Great.
Okay.
So make sure, guys, you're all on mute. So every time you ask to have a question, just unmute your mic or let me know. I have to unmute on my end. Okay, great. Okay, so let's get started, guys. My name is Vikram. I've been doing UI for the last 5 years, and for last 2.5 years, I was only doing React. I was doing React on for the web and React Native, which is a mobile platform developing iOS and Android applications. I have a couple of applications on the iOS store, and I have a lot of production level applications, both customer facing internal applications that have been deployed. I've been working for Verizon. I'm Texas based. Right now, I'm in vacation in India for 2 weeks. I came in here for my stamping. And here I am, early morning Tuesday, 9 a.m. IST. Let's get started. Okay. So I believe everybody have a little bit background about from HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So these are the three main building blocks of all the web apps or the websites you look at. The browser will only understand three things at any point of time. It may either be HTML or CSS or JavaScript. Just give me a minute. Somebody is trying to join in but could not. Okay.
Hello, Vikram bro.
Yes, Joe.
Uh, oh, suddenly screen is just. I mean, we didn't hear you, so
Oh,
I'm not sure. It's from my end probably. Yeah.
oh,
No,
Now
no,
it's fine.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
okay.
Okay. Now it's fine. Yeah. Please go ahead.
So the
Yeah.
three building blocks of any web app or website, anything you see on the internet as a website is built on three core technologies. It's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are the three major languages that are always understood by a browser. Either be Safari, Firefox, or your Chrome. All the browsers just understand these three things. Okay, if you ask me, okay, Vikram, you're making me understand the three things, but let's get dive into understanding each of them. So what is an HTML? The HTML by itself is hypertext markup language, and this makes the structure of your application or the structure of your website. This is how your header is set up. This is the content of the website, and this is the footer of your website. This is how you structure your website. You divide your sections. There are a lot of HTML tags that are available, and I wouldn't dive deeper into them, considering the fact that you probably have a little bit of experience from HTML background. And well, HTML is just how you structure your website. Okay, and next comes the CSS part. This is a very apparent thing, and CSS just add colors to your HTML structure. Okay. Hi, Swarup. So CSS just add colors and styling to your HTML structure. HTML and CSS are only two languages or two technologies that are so much intertwined together that we cannot talk about one thing without talking about another thing. There is no other two languages that are so much integrated into one and each other. Okay, you can have an HTML by itself, but you cannot have a CSS by itself. Without the HTML structure, you cannot able to apply a CSS. Let's say you have a wall and you have to paint the wall with a different color. If there isn't a wall, you cannot paint it, right? There have to be some physical structure that you have to paint onto the surface, right? And the HTML becomes the structure, and the CSS becomes the color on the wall. But again, we have another framework, that is another language, that is a JavaScript. In earlier days of the web, you know what? HTML page was a very static page. What I mean by a static page is, you see on my screen, you see everything that changes HTML and CSS is just just a plain screen, and I cannot click on anywhere and does not make an interaction. I have to make an interaction with an application, right? Or else it's just like it's like a poster on a wall. You have to just look at it, grasp the information, but you do not have an option to interact with a website or interact with it. You cannot click and change something, and that's where the JavaScript kicked in. And JavaScript helps you restructure your HTML or apply new styles conditionally to your CSS. I always imagine like this. You have a building, and the building by itself has a structure of HTML. All the colors that put on is a CSS. All the things that move inside a building, like windows, doors, you click on a power switch, you rotate your fan, everything that moves and interact with a building or that facility is all JavaScript. Okay, clear until this point?
Yes, bro. It's clear.
Yes, it's
Awesome.
clear.
Awesome, Pradeep. Thank you so much for the feedback. Well, so okay, if you keep hearing the ting ting sound, people are joining in. Okay. Well, everybody familiar, right? HTML is written in .html and the CSS is written in .css and the JavaScript is written in an extension called .js. Good until this point, everything is clearly concerned and well separated from a web background. You have all your structure inside your HTML, all the CSS styling, everything goes into your CSS file. Everything that moves or interacts, everything that goes into a JavaScript file. Okay, TK, I'm hearing a noise from you. I'm muting you for a minute. Okay, everything is separated into a different file. Though you can have everything in a single file, you have to have them in a different tag, the style tag, the script tag, but still things are well separated. And that's where a new technology emerged to put everything into a one place, and that is React. Okay, you might be asking me, okay, Vikram, I completely understand. We have to write a JavaScript in a different file, HTML in a different file, and a CSS in a different file. Why do we need React? It's just because we have to write everything in one single file. It's why do we need React? Well, it is not just that thing. There are many other UI libraries or frameworks. Can somebody name other UI library, other frameworks other than React?
Angular, Vue.js, CanJS.
Awesome, Sai. And another Ember.js and the Vue.js, right? Right? There are multiple frameworks. And you might be wondering, why do I need multiple frameworks? Can't we just do a job with one single approach? Guys, everything, end of the day, I initially told you the browser would only understand JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. All other UI frameworks, everything, whatever you do on the Angular ground, on the Ember ground, on the React ground, everything compiles back again to three different files or three different technologies: HTML, JavaScript, and Angular is written on a TypeScript, and that is an extension superset of JavaScript. React is written in JSX, and other frameworks are written in a different, a different extension of JavaScript. But end of the day, everything is compiled back to one single type of files: JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Just keep repeating this again and again and again, because you know what? React, Angular, Ember, Vue might go away one day, but the building blocks of it, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, remain forever. When I say forever, if there is any cutting edge technology that would replace the existing stack, they wouldn't go away, but I don't believe that is anywhere near future. Okay, just make sure you have a very good knowledge about this building things. Then you can build any architectural design using this building blocks. Okay, and the React came up with a technology or an extension called JSX. You might probably hearing on your job description saying that, okay, I should be, how do you write your JSX? Are you familiar with JSX? What is a JSX? JSX is nothing but a JavaScript XML. Okay, it's an extension of JavaScript. And what does it help with? Instead of writing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in three different files or three different places, or drawing a concrete line between each of this JSX syntax help you to put together everything. And you know what I always say, people who already have an experience from HTML, CSS, JavaScript find little harder to understand JSX. Okay, consider this word. People who are already have the knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript find it little difficult to learn JSX. People who are directly jumping onto the React find it very easy. This is something, this is it's very ironic, right? If you know something, it should be easy, right? It's the extension part has to be easy. But this is the other way around. If you already know something on the web development, React is kind of a little harder for you, because you try to put the things in the way you learned, and React does not fit into the puzzle, because React by itself is a different puzzle when you try to understand the way how the React works from the scratch. And I would say people who really do not have any programming background into web, start learning React would pick a lot faster than people who already have an experience. Take my word. I have seen multiple students who do not have a background with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript started learning JSX very quick, because you know what? They do not have this prior knowledge. Okay, am I writing a syntactically correct, or why am I writing CSS inside my JavaScript? You do not have this the initial thoughts, and you assume that, okay, this is how the things work, and you start learning it, and that is how that is how important it is, and that's how make the React so easy. Okay, and well, I was telling you the multiple frameworks, right? But the question raises again, how React is different? Why can't I learn just Angular or Ember.js? I promise you, if you are into an Angular application, the guy will also tell you that, okay, why should I learn Angular, not just React? But it's just the way it is. How React is different? Well, React uses a concept called component-based model. This is something which is picking up in an Angular world, but from the scratch in 2013, where React was out by the Facebook, they were using this component-based model. These are little terms that we might not understand right away, but as we progress into the training sessions, each of this would make a lot more sense, because you're actually implementing the things than understanding. But if I just tell you to a person who does not have any experience in React, imagine every React component. In React, every view is called a component, okay? And component is like a little Lego piece. You can build anything with a Lego piece. Everybody familiar with Legos, right? You can see on my screen. Each Lego piece is kind of item. You can build anything out of it, and you have to precisely add them, stack them next to each other, and then you can build the things. That is how the React works. Everything in a React is a component. You can able to once you're building the components, something that is interesting out of the physical world is, once you have used your Lego in a particular place, you cannot reuse it back again. But in a virtual world, that is very useful. You can able to reuse your components. What I mean by reusing the components is, let's say you have a Facebook application, you have your alerts page, you have your messages page. Alerts are different, messages are different. Let's say example, the Facebook does not have an alert. They have alerts based on a Gmail. When somebody tries to log into your Facebook application, they throw you an alert on Gmail. Let's say an example of having alerts inside your Facebook, okay, like the way you have messages. You can use the same component for the messages, you can use the same component for the alerts with a little tweak. You don't have to rewrite the whole component again. And that's where React is very powerful, the reusability. This is the second most difference between React.js and another Angular frameworks, other JS frameworks. React uses a lot of reusability. Somebody trying to ask me a question. Okay, what is the easiest language to learn and have a good market now and future? This question is from PK.
Hello, uncle.
Hello. Swaroop,
వేరే ప్లేస్ లో ఉంటాను నేను. ఈ వీకెండ్ వస్తాను అంకుల్.
Swaroop, you're not on the mute, I'm muting you. Okay, great. TK, if you can speak, that would be great. TK is asking a question, what is the easiest language to learn and have a good market and now? TK, if I always tell people, there is no easiest language. The language that you enjoy the most is the easiest language. My easiest language is JavaScript. Somebody else's easiest language is C. Somebody else uses Proton, or somebody uses Perl. It's a matter of preference and what background you have. But if you ask me, okay, I do not have any experience, I do not have any programming experience, what is the first language that I have to learn? I would blindly say JavaScript. JavaScript is a beginner's language. What I mean by that is, it's very easy to understand and very easy to write. It's like a plain English language, and the statements, the syntax, you have to get familiar a little bit with about the syntax. And you know what? JavaScript has the least learning curve. You can able to learn JavaScript in less than a week and start writing a JavaScript code, and that's easy it is. Okay, TK, did that answer your question? And if you ask me what have a good market now and future, again I would say JavaScript, because you know what? JavaScript is both a backend language and a front. You can able to build a backend stack like a Node.js, and you can also build all the front end using Angular, Ember, Vue or React. Try to learn JavaScript. You can also build web applications. You can also build desktop applications. JavaScript is everywhere. Okay, and React and Angular might go someday, but JavaScript would remain until somebody comes up with a new language. But that's not, I don't think the way the JavaScript is trending or people contributing into the JavaScript, I don't think that is gonna go away anywhere probably in the next 5 or 6 years. And don't trust me. I'm just telling you how things were going previously. Things might change. Okay, IT world is very unpredictable. Okay, so this is the second most difference between an Angular and another another JS frameworks. Another important, very important thing in an interview question is a virtual DOM. You might have probably heard hundreds of times when you start, excuse me, when you start learning this React applications, and this is a very important interview question. I have taken hundreds of interviews over a period of 2 years. You know what? Even though I have a full-time position, I always take the job interview call, because interview call helps me to understand how the techie world is working and what are the current requirements. So through that, I can able to learn more. And let's say I have taken 100 interviews. Out of 100 interviews, 90 interviewers would ask this question: what is a virtual DOM in React? It's a very simple concept, if explained well, would impress a lot of interviewers. But all it takes is a little bit of work on your end, try to understand this. There's nothing you have to code. That's an interesting part. That is, throughout your React development, you never touch this virtual DOM. But knowing the concept is very important, okay? And the way it works is, on my left side, you see an app in here, right? Okay, just give me a minute. I'm trying to pull up my drawing. Just give me a minute, guys. Somebody trying to join. Okay, so what I was telling, the virtual DOM thing, right? Clear until this point, any questions on the component based model, the reusability, or anything? What was a JS6 syntax? Any questions, guys? This is kind of a demo session. I'm trying to go over each and everything, like a peek view. Once we get onto the development or everyday sessions, we will get into each and every detail. Any questions so far?
No.
Thank you. Okay, great. So this is, let's say you have we have your document object model. This is how your HTML ISU. Does anybody know? Does anybody doesn't know what is a document object model is? DOM. You can use the panel, the Zoom panel. Say yes, no if you are unable to speak. Does anybody? Okay, the TK doesn't know about a document. Anybody else doesn't know about a document object model?
Is it the HTML?
DOM, DOM.
A DOM is an HTML?
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's how your HTML document is structured. Let's take an example. It's a very simple thing, guys. You don't have to really get into a lot of detail. I'll quickly show you something. Okay. Okay, if you can see my screen, you might have probably have noticed that this inspecting here. Once you inspect and you can able to see the code, how your div is, this is how is your header part is, this is how your body is structured, and this is how your HTML. Right? Let me put up this thing, and this, guys, this is your document object model. how the way. Vinay, I'm muting you. Okay. Okay, guys. So this is one level of tree. There's another level of tree and another listed level of trees. And this is your document. So it really describes how the UI should look like. This is a document object model. And React works on a concept called virtual DOM to manipulate. Okay, so to manipulate this DOM. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, great. So React works on a concept called virtual DOM. You know what? Let's say an example of you have your name, and right next to your name you have a button that you click the button and you hide your name. This interaction, what you're doing is you're trying to remove that your name from the document object model and hiding it. Okay, and this is called DOM mutations. And React works on these DOM mutations using virtual DOM. What it does is a DOM is an exact copy. I'm sorry, the virtual DOM is an exact copy of the real DOM. But the real DOM have HTML elements, the virtual DOM has JavaScript elements. Okay, the JavaScript objects. What it does is, anytime you make a change to one of the apps in here, let's say this is your real browser DOM. What it does is, in React, it uses a concept called keys. It let's say you have this green color in here, and it maps to this virtual DOM using a concept called key. Let's say an example of key 1, okay, and you have an orange in here, and that is mapped to an orange thing using key 2, okay. And the way React works is, every time you change something on the UI, it doesn't directly update the real DOM. Okay, this is a real DOM. It does not affect the real DOM. What it does is, it will apply its change to the virtual DOM, and it will only apply the update to the real DOM. Make sense?
No, bro.
Okay. I could not join initial part of this. What is the course content? Okay, I would share this after the class. Okay, is that okay? Okay, great. Thank you. So I will try to explain that again. You have a virtual DOM in here. Let me try to share my screen back with the real DOM option. Okay, who said it doesn't make sense? Thank you so much. Let me try to pull up an example for you. Just give me a minute. And share my screen. Okay. Okay, guys, listen carefully. Every time we make an interaction to a website, Some elements are hidden, some elements are enhanced, some elements are, are compressed. For example, you have a drop down list. Whenever you click on a drop down, the list would expand and you can able to select the things. Or a checkbox. Let's say you have you have a lot of interactive elements on the application. Let's say a form where your first name, last name, gender, and your marital status, etc., etc. Every time you click or make an interaction on the form, the whole document object model is recreated. Everything is destroyed and recreated. Okay? When you click something, the document object model I was showing previously is completely destroyed and recreated. But the way React works is, it does not, let's say you have a state 1 in here, and you have a state 2. On the state 1, you have only one little change. What is the change? We have two changes, one the removal and one addition. From state 1 to state 2, all you have is to remove this particular element in here and add two more elements in here, right? What other frameworks does is, it will try to completely destroy the state 1 and recreate another state which is similar to state 2. Okay? But what React DOM does is, it instead of recreating the whole state 2, it will try to add only the changes. Okay, and this is on a browser. Instead of recreating all the elements again and again, which is time consuming, it would only update a particular element that the user has made an interaction. Okay, and the virtual DOM take care of everything for you. You really do not have to do anything for yourself. All it's taken care by the React algorithms behind the scenes. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, no.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Awesome. So there's another major difference. So the interview questions would be, how, if you are working in a React application, what are the major differences between an Angular application and React? A lot of times I've seen people asking the same question again and again and again. What is the major differences between React versus Angular? The first thing I would say is the virtual DOM. Without a doubt, I would say the first thing is a virtual DOM. Angular will recreate the whole DOM, but the React will only update the existing DOM. The second thing is reusability. There's an Angular framework that is already trying to use reusability. So this is not a major difference. The other difference is, React is not an MVC. It's not a model view controller kind of a pattern. Our architecture is just the view part. We will try to understand more during while we're building the child components or view components, where is just a view. If you're familiar with what MVC model, if you're not familiar with what an MVC model is where your data is, and view is where you actually view the data onto the UI, and the controller will control both the model and the view, and trying to update the view based on the model, or trying to update the model based on the view. Okay, this is how an MVC pattern works, an MVC architecture works. But React is it's not a framework, or it's not an MVC framework. It's completely a view library. There's another interview question: is React a library or a framework? Anybody can answer this question. Is React a library or a framework?
Library.
Who is that?
Nagaraj.
Nagaraj, why do you say it's a library?
Yeah.
It's a superset of JavaScript.
Yes.
Ikra? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, Nagaraj. What was it again?
I don't know actually.
Okay, so it's a huge debate, Nagaraju. There's no wonder you were confused, because a lot of people who's really working on React would not able to come to a conclusion, and a lot of people say it's a framework, a lot of people say it's a library, and really depends on how do you understand the React. I was working on an Angular framework, and I myself see that Angular was a full-fledged framework. I had a lot of things inside a framework. But on React, I could not able to find a lot of things and in and out. So I say React is more of a library. But people say that you can add this functionalities into the library to make it as a framework. It's again a debatable thing. I consider it as a library, and few people say it's a framework. But end of the day, it's just the view part inside your MVC. It's neither it can be a framework the way you use it. It can be a library the way you set up your views. Okay, and there are many people who using many IT companies that are using this React thing. It was invented by Facebook, but obviously it's taken for it's widely used by Facebook. You know what? There's another framework called Vue.js. Anybody familiar with it? Anybody at least heard of it or working on it? Know about this?
Yes, and
Yes, Swarup, right? So
yeah, I mean in Apple they use Vue.js.
I'm sorry.
In the Apple they use Vue.js for developing.
Is it? Okay, great. On Vue.js and React.js both work on the same concept called virtual DOM, but Vue.js is less popular than React.js for one reason, because it's being backed up by Facebook. Facebook maintains this React repository. Vue.js does not have anybody, a huge background companies that would maintain the Vue.js. That's the only reason the React was more popular, though both work on the same concept called virtual DOM. And it's you see on my screen, I do not have a React. I also say iOS and Android. That's an interesting part in there. If you learn React, guys, you're not just confined to do a web application. In my case, I started learning React for a mobile application. I started doing iOS applications and Android applications. I was a web developer, then I switched to a mobile developer, then I'm a web developer again. 95% of the code, or 95% of the way how the code works on React and React Native. When you code for web, it's called React. When you code for mobile, it's called React Native. Okay, it's 95%. It is one and the same. If you understand React, you're not confined to web application by itself. You can also do mobile application. Another interesting thing is you can also develop TV applications, watch applications, and the virtual reality. Anybody know what a virtual reality is?
VR technology.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
Yeah, you put on those goggles.
Goggles type
Get
thing.
into this virtual world, right?
Yeah.
There is a whole there's a whole people.
We have games also like that, virtual
Yeah.
games. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So if you are building, if you're learning React, you can do web applications, you can do mobile applications, you can also do VR applications, and the list is not ended. You can also do Mac applications. Excuse me. You can also do watch applications. You can also do TV applications. You can do Windows. I'm not sure if anybody using a Windows phone. You can also do a Windows phone app as well. The limitations are endless. People are still trying to work, trying to do a React on various other, everything that has an option or a facility to view the screen can be React can be used there. Behind the scenes, you can use another technology, but on the UI, you can use a React. That's how powerful React is. And the beauty of React is all you have to learn it once, and you can able to write it on any platform with a little tweak. And the tweak, I wouldn't say it would take more than it to understand how the tweak happens. All you have to understand is just the React and how the React works. Okay. Okay, now let's try to understand a very simple React application. Let me try to pull up my thing. Okay. Any questions on so far, guys?
No.
No, bro.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just trying to run my a very simple React application to show you like a very hello world kind of a program. So let's jump on it, try to understand a very simple React and try to break down. Okay, on my screen you can see a very it's a core bare minimum React application. As you can see, if you are from a HTML, CSS, and JavaScript background, this is little daunting for you. You would imagine, okay, this is a JavaScript part, and you say this, okay, this is a JavaScript thing in here, and again I see some HTML inside in here, and again I see some the CSS. This is how I have a bad code. Okay, this is a plain JavaScript in here. This is your HTML and this is your CSS. You see how things are so much intertwined into each other. JSX is little harder for people who have HTML background, but if you're directly jumping onto React, this is way simpler. Okay, and this is how the render. We would understand what a render function is and how different render doing optional conditional renders is how to optimize our application, etc. And I'll try to show you something else. Let me pull up my okay, so you might probably have seen people asking about people keep saying about JSX syntax and JS syntax and all. This is how a JSX is. JSX is a JavaScript XML where you have JavaScript inside your HTML, CSS inside your HTML. Okay, somebody have a question. I'm not from IT background, but I did my master's in IT project management. What is the area do I need to focus to support for an IT project management? TK, I would answer this question at the end of the session, and we would have a question and answer sessions. Is that okay for you? Okay, awesome. Thank you. So this is how a JSX looks like, guys. You have HTML, you have JavaScript, you have CSS in one single place. But you know what? People who are coming from a background where they do not have a JSX background, they can even able to write React code, not just in JSX. They can use a simple JavaScript as well. But I wouldn't, 95% of the projects I have seen so far always use JSX syntax. It's much cleaner and very easy to understand. You can see, it's very simple. The view part, the styling part, the JavaScript. It's way simpler to write the code. But using with the plain heads, the JavaScript code without using JSX, it is little confusing. As you try to code, there are nested create elements, and it's not, you cannot able to well structure the code. If you are, a Ninja JavaScript developer, then you would able to understand the code. The way, if I start looking at my code, it's really hard for me. Okay, there is a div tag in here. Inside my div tag, there is a span tag, and I have to keep visualizing the things as I walk through the code. But that isn't the case with the JavaScript, JSX. It's very clear that, okay, I have a div as a parent component, I have a span inside inside my span I have some text, and that specific text I'm adding a particular style. But this thing in here, it's a little, it's little not so good to present, or not so good to code, or not so good to easily understandable. So people always prefer a JSX syntax.
Bro.
Yes.
So manam, I mean, like, we don't need CSS separate file, right? We can write styling in between the code, right?
Absolutely, it's called an inline CSS. So we have three kinds of CSS. One is an inline CSS.
Okay.
Okay, this is an inline CSS. But there is one particular problem writing an inline CSS. What if I have to write another same line of code and apply the same style? I have to rewrite the same lines and again. Right?
Yeah.
And for example, you have like hundreds of files, and every company have their brand color. Verizon has a brand color of red, right?
Yes, bro.
Okay, so tomorrow, let's say AT&T has acquired Verizon, and they told me, okay, Vikram, no, go change everything red color from blue color because AT&T is blue in color. I have to go to every line of code inside my React and try to change every inline code. That is very tedious for me, right? I have to change this color in here, then I have to go and change in here. Instead, what I do is, you know what? I will apply a class name to here, and let's say a class name.
Class name or ID name.
Exactly, I can apply styles by an ID by a class. So I can change at one particular location, and everything is changed forever. Okay, that's an interesting question. Thank you, Sai. That's one way of doing. This is one inline style, and there's another called in file. So you can able to write your CSS right in here. Let's say like this, and you can start writing your CSS code in here as well, and try to. And you can also have your CSS file as a separate. You can have your CSS as a separate file as well. There's a third way of writing. Okay, that it really depends on the way your project is put up. Few people have inline styles for the components that are used again and again. Few people who wants to have them in a separate file. Few developers always want to have everything related to that particular component inside the component, so they write next to each other. Okay. So, and if you are into a project and you can either write your code in JS6 if the project is already set up in JS6, but if you want to be a ninja developer and try to understand and challenge yourself every day, go write your code in JS using React. And there are two different ways you can write React code using JSX and using JS. And again, there is another, there's a lot of fuzz around this ES6. Anybody heard this word called ES5, ES6 in their job descriptions anywhere in interview questions?
It's a
ECMA script.
ECMA.
So ES5 is like vanilla JavaScript or plain JavaScript.
Yes.
And ES6 is like the TypeScript, the US version of JavaScript and superscript of JavaScript.
I wouldn't say it's a TypeScript. You know what? Every language has to be standardized. This is how your standard way of writing the code, and they should be an autonomous body away from the developers, because every developer have a different requirement. So there is an autonomous body who decides what goes into the language and what does not go. Okay, and there's a particular association called ECMA, which is European. Hello. Does anybody have a question? Okay. So, yep. Who's that? Hi, Pradesh.
Hi.
Hi there. Thanks for joining in. We are almost about to wind up the session. So stay back for if you have any questions. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So there is an association called European Computer Manufacturer Association, and these guys set the standards for the JavaScript, and they try to enhance the JavaScript probably every year or a couple of months, and they came up with every version with a different number, and ES5 and ES6 is the latest. 2015 version is called ES6, guys. Okay. it's a little confusion between how they name the ES6 after the name of an year, but every year they release a new version and they name it an ES6 or ES7, and the next version is called ES next. Let's say an example, guys. Every developer is writing 10 lines of code to do a particular job, and these people find it okay. I see a lot of developers are writing the same 10 lines of code every day to do a particular job, and they jump in. They add a new feature saying, "Hey, listen, we have written this one line of code. Just you have to write this one line of code, and behind the scenes, we would convert your one line of code into 10 lines of code." So you don't have to write 10 lines of code again and again and again. Okay, this is the language enhancements that happen every year. And one interview question always is 99.99% of the React interviews have this question. Well, do you use ES6 syntax in your development? I use ES6 a lot for myself. It really depends. Few people use an ES. People who are developers who are are not from a React background try to use an ES5 syntax because that's very close to plain vanilla JavaScript. I was working in a project. One of the senior developers is close to 75, and he refused to use ES6 syntax because it's very hard for him to learn. Though it simplifies how we write the code, it's very hard for him to learn. So he refused it. And it depends on how well is your team understanding to get onto the latest technologies and latest approaches. But my favorite is always writing in ES6 because that would cut down a lot of lines of code for you. Okay, and all the latest browsers understand ES6. You don't need any additional configuration to make them understand ES6. But if you have earlier browsers like an IE or outdated Firefox on Windows machine, you can use a Babel. Babel is transpiler that converts your ES6 syntax into ES5 syntax. For the first few days, we will try to code in both ES5 and in ES6 syntax to understand the difference. Once you understand the difference, then we'll completely jump on trying to write an ES6 syntax. Okay. And getting back to the React again, so this is how the build. This is all the basement of the React about the language, how the transpilation works, and how to write your ES6 code using. So this particular syntax in here, I have written. Let me show you. So this is how an ES6 syntax is written. It uses a class component. App extends the component, and this is, let me speed it to the right.
No, I have a doubt.
Yes.
No, even the JSX have the extension of .js.
Oh yeah, you know what? Earlier versions of React, you can able to put either JSX in here. You can see I have written the JSX in here, right?
Yeah.
Either you can go with .jsx or JS, but behind the scenes is always connected into JS.
Because how to identify between two files that this is written in JSX and this is written in normal JS?
You can just go into the particular. I'm sorry, you're asking the question how to identify if it's written in JSX or JS?
Yeah, each and every time you have to go inside a file and have to check the code.
And it does not really, you don't have to really go into every file. If one file is written in JSX, I assume that throughout your project is always, it's always JSX. Okay, I haven't seen even a single project where they use JS and JSX because there are two different things again. They try to do the same thing. It really depends on the developer.
Okay.
Okay, on my left, you can see an ES6 syntax. There isn't a major difference, guys, but the difference is between optimization and writing a simpler code. Okay, there's only one difference with respect to React. There are a lot of differences with respect to JavaScript, but with respect to React, the ES6 is a very small difference. On an ES5 syntax, we use class app extends component. On an ES6 syntax, on an ES5 syntax, we use a React class. On an ES6 syntax, we try to extend the existing component. On ES5 syntax, we create a new class. This is on optimization level, but end of the day, everything is the same. Okay, this is how you write your code. It doesn't mean that if you write your ES6 syntax, I'm sorry, I was keep saying optimization. It's a readability. There's no optimization here. End of the day, both perform the same way. It's how you write your code. Okay, it's about the readability. Okay, you can also write your code in JS, but this is not a very readable format. As you can see, I cannot really interrupt the way how the div is put inside my span, how the span is put inside my div, right? And any questions so far, guys? I will take another 5 minutes because we have a late initial 5 minutes, but we will quickly wind up. And I'll open for any questions and answers. Any questions so far on an ES5 Babel? I understand this is too much of technical things put together, but every class we will be concentrating on a particular thing. We will build the base and we'll build on top of it. Okay. Joe, any questions? Nagaraju, Pradeep, Prakash, Sai, any questions?
No, bro.
No.
Shashank?
Vikram bro,
Yes.
this is Joe. The thing is, like, I mean, maybe it's my problem of understanding the concept. Like, whenever you are writing any component with this, so like in browser, I mean, I don't know, maybe it might not be true. Like, whenever you're rendering through browser won't take, like, I mean, won't take the output. So it won't show output directly. So for that reason also, JSX is helping you out. Like, it is converting into, that is the concept, or
Joe,
I'm just mixing. Yeah. So,
you're very loud and it was very wasn't clear. You might
okay.
pull back on your mic and
Okay. Now you're listening. You can go.
yeah. Do you mind writing the question on the chat window?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Awesome, guys. Anybody have any more questions? They can write on the chat window. While I move on to a core concept on React, calling the state and props. React works on a concept called state. If you understand the state, guys, you understand the React. Okay. We will, the first initial classes will be only concentrating how the state works. But there's always an interview question: what is the difference between a state and props? I was telling you, every Lego piece or every React component has a state associated inside it. A state is nothing but a piece of data, or let's say a very small database. I'm telling you as a database right now, but try to make you understand. It's not really a database, but assume that it's a database where data is stored, like your name, age, gender, etc. And your React component will try to read the data from this little database. You can able to read the database, you can able to write the database. There's a particular way how do you read from the database, calling this dot state, that the variable on the state on your database, and writing to the database using the this dot set state. We will try to go into one and each detail while we do our state mutations. For a one-liner answer between a difference between a state and the props, our state is inside the component. State is inside the component. Like I have a parent component on my left, which is brown color, and I have a little state in here. That's a little piece of data. Just assume when I say state, it's a little piece of data. On my right, I have a child component, which is green in color, and I have another state. So on the left and the right, there are two different components. There's a parent component. On the right, I have a child component, right? Everything that is inside the component is a state. Okay? And the blue line is the data that is passing from the parent to the child. and that becomes props aka properties. Okay. The question would be, the interview question would be, what is a difference between a state and props or properties? Few people ask me to put it in a different way, like, can you explain me a difference between state and a property? What do you understand by a state in a React component? What do you understand by the properties in a React component? My answer would be, any data that stays inside the parent component is called a state. Any piece of data that is pushed to the child component, or I say pushed, or I say injected, I say passed, all means the same. Any data that is passed into the child component is called properties, or any data that is inside the component is called state. Any data that inside the component that has been received from the parent is called the properties. Clear on that? Do you want me to rephrase that thing again? Pradeep, Prakash, Sai, Shashank, is that clear?
Yes, bro.
Okay. So any piece of data that is
So,
yes.
చేంజెస్ ఒకవేళ చేంజెస్ ఉంటే అది చైల్డ్ ప్రోస్ అవుతుంది, ఎగ్జాక్ట్ సేమ్ ఉంటే అది స్టేట్ అవుద్ది కదా డేటా.
లేదండి, మీకు ఒక పీస్ ఆఫ్ డేటా కాంపోనెంట్ లో అని ఇస్ దట్ ఓకే? ఐ కెన్ స్పీక్ ఇన్ తెలుగు గైస్.
సారీ
Joe, bear with me for Prakash, do you understand Telugu?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody who doesn't understand Telugu, for just I would try to understand, answer this particular question and I'll get back in English, okay? Sai కదా అడిగింది?
యా ఎస్ బ్రో.
ఏం లేదు, ఒక కాంపోనెంట్ ఉందనుకో, ఆ కాంపోనెంట్ లోపల స్టేట్, ఆ కాంపోనెంట్ లోపల డేటా ఉందంటే అది స్టేట్ అవుతుంది సార్. సరేనా?
యా ఓకే బ్రో.
ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, లెట్స్ సే యు ఆర్ ఎ ఫాదర్ అండ్ యు హ్యావ్ మీ ఒక ఫాదర్ ఉన్నాడండి, ఒక చైల్డ్ ఉన్నాడు. మనం అంటాం కదా, మీ ఆస్తులన్నీ, మీ ప్రాపర్టీస్ అన్ని మీ ఫాదర్ ద్వారా వచ్చాయని. నీ అంతలో నువ్వు ఎక్వైర్ చేసుకుంటే అది స్టేట్ అవుతుంది, అంటే నీకు ఒక స్టేటస్ సింబల్ వస్తుంది.
ఓకే
రైట్? మీ ఫాదర్ నుంచి నీకు వచ్చాయనుకో అవి ప్రాపర్టీస్ అవుతాయి. అలా
ఎస్ వింటున్నా బ్రో.
యా బ్రో, అర్థమైందా? మళ్ళీ చెప్పనా?
అర్థమైంది. ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ లాగా కదా?
ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ వేర్ సాయి. ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ ఏంటంటే దే ఆర్ ఆన్ ద సేమ్ లెవెల్ అన్నమాట. ఇదేంటంటే పేరెంట్ చైల్డ్ రిలేషన్షిప్.
ఓకే ఓకే బ్రో.
అలా.
యా ఓకే.
Great. No, I'm open to for any question and answers. You can ask me in Telugu or English. The motto is to make you understand. మీరు ఈ క్లాస్ కి సంబంధించిన you don't have to ask any only questions related to this class. Anything out of your project, anything in questions related to your job, not just UI but DevOps, not internals but on a higher level. అంటే యూనిట్ టెస్టింగ్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఇట్లాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమన్నా అడగండి, మీకు అర్థం కాదు. I'll be here for another 24 minutes. Please ask me any questions. TK, let's get back to your question. So you're asking me, I'm not TK, it would be better if you respond. Can you talk, TK? Okay, if you're talking and you're on mute, by the way.
Hello?
Yeah, TK.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm a mechanical engineering background, but I have done my master into technology project management.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm working as a project manager, associate project manager. But since I don't have much experience in IT and especially in development, so what are the area do I need to concern and I need to focus and learn to help my project management?
I mean, if you're in a project management, are you handling the project by yourself or are you leading a project? I mean, you're managing the whole team, like the back-end and the front-end team, or you're leading the front-end team?
No, there is a senior manager, but I am assisting him. I'm working as associate project manager, not directly I'm handling the project, but I am supporting to him.
Okay. Are you familiar with this Jira ticketing systems?
I am a bit familiar with Jira.
Okay. Any other ticketing tools? Or what kind of ticketing tools you will use in your project? Like updating the status of the tools, updating the status of the development.
We use Monday.com and Jira.
Okay.
I'm using most of the time Monday.com.
rd.com. Hello.
Yeah, Monday, Sunday, Monday.com.
Monday.com. I'm not familiar with this Monday thing, but if you are managing a project, you should be able to be in a situation to pull the reports from the Jira or this Monday.com to understand the progress of your team and try to talk with the team if probably you might be getting some requirements from your manager, right? You have to closely start working with your team to understand if there are any blockers, any potential blockers, and any ambiguity in the development process. That is all I would suggest you to. But are you trying to focus more on the front end or the back end or everything else?
I am more focused on agile project management right now. I'm done my Scrum Master certification also, but apart from that, I think I need to learn some language or any kind of a framework for development. So that's why I joined this session.
Okay. If the Scrum Master thing, that's a whole different thing. But if you're just getting started as a developer, I would suggest to go to any Udemy course on JavaScript, which has a higher ratings, and start learning JavaScript. Do you have any programming background?
No, I don't have.
Okay, I would strongly suggest you to go start learning JavaScript. Once you learn the JavaScript, you understand how the program works, how do you write your code, how to declare your variables, how to create the functions. These are the like the core parts of programming. So if you start learning it in the JavaScript, because JavaScript is much easier to learn, you can apply the same principles across the projects, across other programming languages.
They are using framework, Pega system for the development.
Okay, Pega, I believe it's a language by itself, right?
Yeah. It's developed through a JavaScript, but there's a framework is already available. They want to create the system.
I think Pega is more related to Java than JavaScript.
Pega is a RPA tool, I guess.
No, they have RP tool and different CRM system. There are many applications you can use. RPA is one of the area, but Pega not only RPA. They have different areas.
Okay. As far as I know, Pega is related to something to Java, but I'm not sure how the way it's set up. But if you are the development part of
it's a BPM tool. It's a developed on Java.
Yeah, that's what I know about it. Yeah, Pega
Yeah, thank you very much for your answer. So then I will try to learn that JavaScript you're using that you some of the Udemy course. So then it will help me to in future.
Yeah, if you are done with the JavaScript on the Udemy, I'll try to share a link for you. There are hundreds of courses on JavaScript, but there's one which is very particular I'm interested in, and I suggest for everybody else. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to browse through my system.
Yeah, if you can share that link in that chat group, so then I will register for that part.
Okay. And you know what? If you plan to, you have concrete your development things, try to get a book by this guy. Let me share you this particular course here. Is it for go over this course, and it's more focused on JavaScript, not especially on the UI. This guy is really awesome, and he tries to explain the things one or two different ways. Okay. Hello. Okay.
Hello?
Yes. If you have an iPhone, there's a particular app called Grasshopper.
My currently I'm using Android phone.
Probably on the Android also you have an application, a very small application of Grasshopper. It'll try to make you learn JavaScript using some gaming methodology where you can try to clear the levels and eventually learn JavaScript.
Can you type in this because I'm not much clear what you're telling. Grasshopper?
Grasshopper. Let me share this.
Grasshopper. Yeah, Grasshopper.
Grasshopper.codes. Okay, I've shared that on the chat window if you'd like to. Okay. And JavaScript is so simple, DK. If you have any questions, you can ping me on my WhatsApp number, and let me share my WhatsApp number to you as well. Folks, it's 636.
Is it in India?
5062.
Is it in India? Indian number?
It's a US number.
Oh, okay.
I'll be back in the US in next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Hope so. If everything goes right with my stamping thing.
Okay.
No worries, bro.
Thank you, sir.
Which state you will come if you come in US?
Texas, Irving.
Okay.
Bro, if you don't mind, I have a question to ask.
Yes, Vignesh.
Bro, actually, what is actually Node.js and why we use npm in node package management and all?
It's a very simple tool. Let's say you're building an apartment, Vignesh. Okay. Okay. So inside your apartment, let's say apartment is your project, and inside your apartment you need windows, you need doors, you need the faucets, taps, etc. Right?
Yes.
Right. So let's say you need to build a tap. What would you do if in order to put a tap? Will you go to a shop, get the tap and fix it, or you go, or you melt the metal, shape it into a tap and put it onto your wash sink? Which one you prefer?
I'll go to shop, buy a one and fix it.
So NPM Node Package Manager is a shop. It's like an online shop. A lot of times in your project, let's say I'm building an airline project, okay, and the airline project, I need three things. I need destination, travel to date, from date if I'm making a round trip, right?
Yeah.
So I need a calendar where people can click on a calendar, right? My project is to build an airline project where I have to click the icon and get the calendar. But I don't have to write the calendar by myself, right? I have to handle the leap years, the number of months, the number of days into each calendar year, each month of a year, right?
Yeah.
My focus is not building the calendar. My focus is building the product. What I do is I go to an NPM registry. I see there are a lot of online calendars.
Okay.
Somebody has already built the calendar. There's a team of people, free, open source developers that are trying to build the calendar. I just use that calendar in my project. Okay. This is an NPM, but in order to do the shopping, or in order to pull this modules from the NPM, you need some kind of a tool, right? You have to get the thing from the NPM registry and download onto your local machine under Node modules.
Okay.
Right? This Node.js helps for it within the React development. But if you're asking Node.js out of the UI development, Node.js also helps you to write server-side code, writing APIs using an express.js.
No, I'm just asking within this React one.
Yeah. So it also helps you to bundle and build. What I mean by that, we are writing an ES6 syntax, we are writing JSX syntax, but the browser does not understand it. The Node with help of Babel, we'll try to get this code and transpile it into Babel and JSX. We need a server. We need someone who can do the service for us. And that has to be running all the time. And that particular guy is Node.js.
Okay. So I mean, you said like Babel does the conversion part, right? So
Yes.
so like Node.js also does that one, or?
So, let's say Babel is a filter, okay? It's like a funnel.
Okay.
Somebody has to get the code and pour into that funnel.
Oh, okay.
The Node.js will read the file on your system and pour that into your funnel, and out of the funnel you get a plain vanilla JavaScript code or ES5 code.
Okay, now I'm getting. So both Node.js and Babel helps in conversion part.
Yes, but if somebody asks you, okay, how do you transpile? This is a very, very unique word, transpile. We have here heard a lot of times what a compile is, right? Compiling the code.
Yeah.
This is a transpile. It does not come. Transpile is transforming from one particular coding style to another coding style. It's the same language. Okay.
Okay.
Compiling is compiling down to a machine code again. Yeah. So people ask, or interview question is, how do you transpile your ES6 code to ES5 code? Then you say we use Babel.
Okay.
Yeah, Ajay has a question. Hi bro, my name is Ajay. Is that okay if I read out this question loud? Ajay? Yes, okay. Hi bro, my name is Ajay. Recently I got a job as a full stack developer and they are using React with Java, it seems. This, I really do not understand this combination why people start using React with Java. Because JavaScript is React and Java is it's a functional programming language, it's an object-oriented programming language. It's like you putting an apple inside a banana peel. I don't know why. I got trained in the backend and I am comfortable with Java, WX, etc. But I have no idea on React. So do I need to learn to build an application using React? Okay. Do I got trained in the backend and I'm comfortable with Java, W, etc. But I have no idea on React. So do I need to learn to build an application using React, or shall I just concentrate how to connect React with backend Java? If you are a full stack developer, Ajay, you should be capable to build both React code and Java code. A full stack developer is someone who assists both the backend developers and the front end developers. There are few projects where the backend and the front end code is reviewed by the full stack developer before that goes into a production, that goes into your commits into your branch, commits into your repository. Few folks will only be called when there is a particular need. A full stack developer is called when one of the front end developer is not working, or is off the job, something he could not able to fix, or someone who try to integrate both the backend and the front end. It's good to have. If you only concentrate on the backend, probably if you are hired as a full stack developer, they expect you to work on both front end and the back end. If you ask me, should I learn? I always say yes. Anybody, no matter what programming language you say, Vikram, should I learn? I say yes. Because that doesn't hurt, that always helps.
Yeah. Hi Vikram, I'm Ajay.
Yeah, Ajay.
Yeah, thank you for your suggestion. I just got a job within last 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about, because in my resume I have submitted as AngularJS, but even though he accepted me in his project of React.js.
There's a much major difference, Ajay. If you are familiar with one UI framework, it's like driving particular car. If you know one car, you can drive any other car.
Okay.
You have to familiarize how the dashboard works. Once you're getting ready with the dashboard works, then you can drive the car. Probably you might have the same idea. Once you know Angular, it wouldn't be very hard for you to pick up React.
Okay. Because I have learned by using JSPs and HTML pages I have created while using backend.
Mm-hmm.
I have just a knowledge on Angular. That's it. Not even I have did not even started learning. but as soon as I started marketing myself, like I got a job.
Okay, that shouldn't be a problem.
I need to pick up.
Yeah, I believe you have a little bit of programming language, right?
Yeah. I do
Yeah.
have knowledge on backend a lot, but whereas
so you said you have experience on Angular, so I'm taking that as you have experience with JavaScript. Right? I mean it's a TypeScript there, but behind the scenes it's still a JavaScript. So that's
yeah. Thank you.
That shouldn't be a problem, I thought.
Thank you, Vikram.
Anytime. Any more
Hi,
time?
Vikram.
Yeah, Venkat.
Yeah. How many sessions are there overall for React for this session? Like how many sessions are there?
It's a 2 week. It's a 2 week course, Venkat. Every day it's for 2 hours, and for 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
And it really depends. I say 2 hours, but usually it takes really question and answer sessions. It goes to 2.5 hours, but I'm okay with it. Any more questions? I use a lot of illustrations. I'm a UI UX designer by myself. I've just shown you on my screen. Okay. So I design my own screens. I do not pull it off the internet. I make sure you understand more. There are few items I pull from the internet, but most of the time, in order to write the just give me a minute. Most of the time, I just do my own domain. And we do have daily assignments, guys, and daily quizzes before you join in. Before 10 minutes, we have quiz. So I review the quiz and I give out the results the next day. I do not display the results for everybody. I talk in person to everybody, so I understand how the things work. And I review the assignment with everybody. Okay, so everybody in session. So people try to understand what others are making as a mistake. We have very less time to make ourselves so many mistakes and try to learn. It's a good idea to learn from somebody else's mistake. Thank you, Swarak. Thank you for joining in. You get a recording of the session every day after the class, so you can get another chance to review the class again before you join for the next class. Thank you, Pratik. Thank you for joining in. Anybody, how to design and design things? I'm looking for a designer. I draw that on a paper and thank you, Joe, for the response. What is the most common language for the web development? JavaScript. TK. Anybody Texas based right now, right? Joining in from Texas? Dallas. Okay, I see. Ajay, there was a hailstorm last week, I believe, in Dallas, right? Yes, a little bit. I'm worried about my car. No worries, man. I have my sister's family in there. They're checking on it. Pradeep, I was asking, is anybody from Dallas area?
No, shall I leave? If you don't mind.
Absolutely. People who are free, do not have any questions, you are free to leave.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Sri Vignesh. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, Vikram bro.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
Thanks,
Thanks, Vikram. Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Nagaraju, for joining in. Thank you, Jacqueline Shiba. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Shiba. Okay, folks, the meeting will end in another minute.
And I have a small doubt. And
Absolutely, Swarup Japan.
మీరు ఇక్కడ ఒక పేరెంట్ చైల్డ్ స్టేట్ అండ్ ప్రాప్స్ కి పెట్టారు కదా.
అవునండి.
ఇక్కడ మనం బి వాల్యూ చేంజ్ చేస్తే 2 స్టేట్స్ లో చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. లైక్ ఒక చైల్డ్ కాంపోనెంట్ లో బి వాల్యూ చేంజ్ చేస్తే సెకండ్ స్టేట్ లో చేంజ్ అవుతుందా, లేకపోతే ఈబి ఇస్ డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ఈబి?
ప్రాపర్టీస్ అనేవి చేంజ్ అవ్వకూడదండి, చేంజ్ చేయకూడదు. దట్స్ అన్ యాంటీ ప్యాటర్న్ రియాక్ట్ అన్నమాట. మీరు ఇప్పుడు ఏబిసిడి అని ఇక్కడ పైన ఉన్నాయి కదండి.
ఓకే.
ఇక్కడ మీరు ఇక్కడికి పాస్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు మీరు ఆ వాల్యూస్ చేంజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ చేశారనుకోండి, ఇక్కడ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా అప్డేట్ అయిపోతాయి ఈ రెండు గ్రీన్ కలర్స్ లో.
ఓకే.
ఓకే, చేంజ్ చేయాలంటే ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ చేయాలి. కానీ మీరు ఈ ప్రాపర్టీస్ ని చేంజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ఏం చేయాలంటే ఇక్కడ ప్రాప్స్ అని వచ్చాయి కదా, ఒక క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుందండి, కెన్ యూ ఏబుల్ టు మ్యూటేట్ ద ప్రాప్స్ అని చెప్పి. ప్రాప్స్ ఆర్ ఇమ్యూటబుల్, అంటే మ్యూటబుల్ అంటే చేంజ్ చేయకూడదు అని.
ఓకే,
అర్థమైందా? మీరు ఏ చేంజ్ చేశారనుకోండి, ఏ వాల్యూ ఇప్పుడు పేరెంట్ లో ఒక ఏ వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది, ఈ చైల్డ్ లో ఒక ఏ వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది, ఈ చైల్డ్ లో పేరెంట్ లో ఒక వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది. అప్పుడు ఏంటి, మనకి ఒక్క ఏ వాల్యూలో ఒక్క ఏకి 2 వాల్యూస్ ఉంటున్నాయి
ఓకే
కదా. అలా చేయకూడదు అనమాట. అలా చేస్తే రియాక్ట్ కాన్సెప్టే బ్రేక్ అయిపోతుంది. అందుకే మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే ఎప్పుడన్నా ఏదైనా చేంజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ప్రాపర్టీస్ దాని పేరెంట్ లో చేంజ్ చేస్తాం. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే.
ఒకవేళ అది చైల్డ్ లో చేంజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ఏం చేస్తామంటే ఈ ప్రాపర్టీని తీసుకొచ్చి స్టేట్ లో పెడతాం. స్టేట్ లో నువ్వు ఏమైనా చేసుకోవచ్చు కావాలనుకుంటే.
ఓకే. థ్యాంక్స్ అన్న.
Okay, folks, if you do not have any more questions, I'm dropping off. If you have any more questions, please ping me on my WhatsApp number, okay? Or give me a call on my WhatsApp number or my India number. You can call me on my US WhatsApp number or text me. I'll share you my India number, okay? Thank you for joining in, Swarup and Nagaraj. Bye-bye.